The January transfer window has suddenly taken on a very different tone at Ibrox, and there's a real sense that things are beginning to move behind the scenes. Over the past few weeks, there has been plenty of noise, speculation, and loose links, but now we are at the stage where concrete actions are being taken. Rangers have officially stepped into the market with a formal bid for a player, and that alone signals intent. And it shows that planning has been done in advance and that targets have been identified with a clear idea of what the squad needs both now and in the future. Before getting into that bid, though, there is another story that continues to develop and has divided opinion among the support. Casea arrived in the summer with a lot of excitement attached to his name. Early impressions were electric, especially when he found the net in consecutive Champions League matches. In those moments, it felt like Rangers might have uncovered something special, a player capable of producing decisive moments on the biggest stage. There was a rawness to his game, but also a fearlessness that immediately caught the eye. As the season progressed, however, that early spark became harder to find. After settling into the structure and tactical demands placed on him, his influence faded in patches. There have been flashes of quality since then, moments where his talent is obvious, but they have not come with the consistency needed to truly lock down a starting role. Recently, his performances have improved, yet the end product has still been lacking at times, which naturally leads to debate when you consider his age and potential. At 22 years old, Casea remains a developing player, and that context matters. This season, he has contributed 6 goals and 2 assists, numbers that show involvement but also leave room for growth. Interest from abroad has not gone unnoticed either. Clubs across Europe are monitoring his situation, and reports from Belgium suggest that Club Brugge have made enquiries about his availability. There has been no direct negotiation between clubs so far, but the interest itself is telling. Villarreal have also been linked previously, adding to the sense that his profile is rising despite an uneven campaign. Among Rangers supporters, opinions are mixed but honest. Some see a player who is still learning his trade and believe that patience could be rewarded if he is given time to iron out his decision-making. Others feel that inconsistency has defined most of his season and that a strong offer would be difficult to turn down. The idea of reinvesting a significant fee into multiple signings during January is appealing, especially if it strengthens key areas of the squad. That is the balancing act Rangers face right now. Cashing in too early could mean missing out on a player who blossoms later, but waiting too long risks losing momentum in a window where improvements are clearly being targeted. Any decision will likely come down to the size of the offer and how it fits into the broader recruitment strategy. Casea still has a high ceiling, but football at this level is ruthless and timing is everything. While that debate continues, Rangers have wasted no time elsewhere. An official bid has been submitted for Belgian under-21 international Tom Ramens, a move that could represent the first completed deal of the window. The offer is understood to be in the region of €3.5 million, and his current club are now considering whether to accept. This development marks a shift from rumors to action and has caught the attention of supporters who have been waiting to see tangible progress. Ramens fits a very clear profile. He is a left-back, 22 years of age, and already has solid first-team experience in Belgium. Rangers appear to be focusing on younger players with athleticism physical presence and resale potential, and this target aligns perfectly with that approach. There has been a noticeable move away from short-term fixes and towards recruitment that can provide both immediate competition and long-term value. What stands out with Ramens is not just his age, but his experience. He has featured in 15 league matches this season alone and has accumulated over 60 league appearances across recent campaigns. For a player still early in his career, that level of exposure is significant. It suggests he would arrive match sharp, accustomed to senior football, and less likely to need a lengthy adaptation period. There is also excitement about the market Rangers are exploring. Belgium, Sweden, and similar leagues have proven fertile ground for clubs willing to do their homework. These are competitive environments where young players are tested regularly, yet transfer fees remain relatively reasonable. The club appears committed to identifying talent before it fully explodes onto the wider European scene, creating a pathway for development and eventual profit. Supporters have reacted positively to the news of the bid, seeing it as evidence that lessons have been learned in recent windows. Rather than gambling on players with limited upside, Rangers seem intent on building a squad with depth, energy, and future flexibility. If Ramens were to arrive, he would add competition on the left side and potentially become a long-term solution in a position that demands consistency. Away from transfers, there has also been encouragement on the pitch. The recent victory over Aberdeen highlighted another layer of progress, particularly in how Rangers are using set pieces as a genuine attacking weapon. 2 goals from dead ball situations underline the growing influence of detailed preparation and coaching work on the training ground. The performance itself was built on control, aggression, and structure, but it was the efficiency from set plays that made the difference. Well-rehearsed routines created clear opportunities, and the execution matched the planning. Contributions from Connor Barron providing us assists, and the finishing from Emmanuel Fernandez and Nico Raskin reflected a collective understanding of roles and timing. There is a growing sense that Rangers are becoming more varied in how they threaten opponents. Goals are no longer reliant on one specific pattern or moment of brilliance. Instead, the team is beginning to show it can score through pressing, transitions, possession, and now set pieces. That variety makes preparation far more difficult for opponents and speaks to a broader tactical evolution taking place. The coaching staff deserve credit for that development. The work done on the training ground is starting to translate into match situations, particularly in tight games where fine margins decide outcomes. Set pieces, often overlooked, can swing momentum quickly, and Rangers are now showing confidence in those moments. Despite the satisfaction with the win, there remains an understanding that there is another level to reach. Dominance needs to be reflected more clearly on the scoreboard, especially in matches where control is established early. A 2-goal lead can still feel precarious, and adding that 3rd or 4th goal would bring greater security and authority. Even so, the overall direction feels positive. Rangers are showing signs of becoming a more complete side, capable of adapting to different challenges and finding solutions in multiple ways. With the transfer window active and performances stabilizing, there is a sense that the foundations are being laid for the next phase of the season, and the coming weeks could prove decisive in shaping what follows. Momentum is a powerful thing in football, and Rangers are starting to show signs that momentum is quietly building beneath the surface. What stands out at the moment is not just individual results or isolated performances, but the underlying structure beginning to take shape. There is a clearer identity emerging, one built on intensity without the ball and composure with it. And that balance is something the squad has lacked at times in recent seasons. The emphasis on preparation, particularly in marginal areas of the game, is beginning to pay dividends. Set pieces are a perfect example of that shift. For years, they have been spoken about as an area that could be improved, but now there is tangible evidence of progress. The routines look sharper, the movement is more coordinated, and players appear to believe in what they are doing. That confidence matters because hesitation is often the difference between a half chance and a goal. When the delivery comes in with purpose and runners attack the space aggressively, defenders are immediately put under pressure. That improvement has not come by accident. There is a clear sense of detail in how Rangers are preparing for matches, and that attention to detail is filtering through the squad. Players know where they need to be, when to make their runs, and how to exploit small weaknesses in the opposition shape. In tight domestic fixtures, those moments can decide everything, especially against teams that sit deep and look to frustrate. Beyond dead ball situations, Rangers are also becoming more assertive in their pressing. The counter-press has been particularly effective, with midfielders and wide players reacting quickly to turnovers. That aggression high up the pitch forces mistakes and keeps opponents pinned back, allowing Rangers to sustain attacks rather than retreating into passive spells. It is an approach that demands fitness and discipline, but when executed correctly, it gives the team a sense of control, even without dominating possession. This tactical evolution also places new demands on the squad, which brings the transfer window sharply into focus. Depth is essential if Rangers are to maintain this intensity across competitions. Rotation will be required, especially as fixtures pile up, and that is why the profile of incoming players matters so much. Younger players with energy and durability fit naturally into this system, particularly those already accustomed to senior football. The interest in players from European leagues outside the traditional spotlight reflects a more measured recruitment strategy. These markets offer competitiveness without the inflated fees often attached elsewhere. Players arrive hungry, eager to prove themselves, and often adaptable to different tactical demands. That adaptability is crucial for a side looking to be flexible rather than predictable. At the same time, outgoing transfers cannot be ignored. Every window brings difficult decisions, especially when young players attract attention before fully establishing themselves. Rangers must weigh immediate needs against long-term potential, and that is never straightforward. Selling at the right moment can fund growth, but selling too early risks weakening the squad during a critical phase of development. Casea's situation encapsulates that dilemma perfectly. His ability is unquestioned, yet his consistency remains a work in progress. The flashes he has shown suggest a player who could thrive with time and stability, but football rarely allows unlimited patience. If interest continues to grow, Rangers may soon face a choice that shapes not just this window, but the direction of their rebuild. What complicates matters further is the broader competitive landscape. Rivals are also strengthening, and standing still is not an option. Rangers know they must evolve to keep pace, not only in terms of talent, but also mentality. The signs on the pitch suggest a team learning how to manage games more effectively, reducing chaos and embracing control when it matters most. That maturity was evident in the way recent matches were handled. After taking the lead, rather than retreating into their shell, Rangers continued to press intelligently, choosing moments to slow the tempo and moments to accelerate it. That game management is often the final step for a side transitioning from potential to consistency, and it is encouraging to see those habits developing. The defensive structure has also tightened, with players understanding their responsibilities, both individually and collectively. Fullbacks are more disciplined in their positioning, centre-backs are stepping out with greater confidence, and midfielders are providing better cover. This cohesion reduces the strain on any single area of the pitch and allows Rangers to defend as a unit rather than relying on last-ditch interventions. As the squad becomes more settled, confidence naturally grows. Players take fewer unnecessary risks, passes become sharper, and movement off the ball improves. These are subtle changes, but over time, they transform performances. Football is rarely about dramatic, overnight improvement. More often, it is about incremental gains stacking up until the difference becomes obvious. And looking ahead, the coming fixtures will test whether these improvements are sustainable. Consistency remains the ultimate challenge, particularly when expectations rise. Rangers are beginning to look like a side with multiple solutions, but they must prove they can apply those solutions week after week, regardless of the opponent or circumstance. The role of younger players will be especially interesting to watch. Opportunities are opening up for those willing to embrace responsibility, and the current environment appears supportive of development. Clear instructions, defined roles, and trust from the coaching staff create conditions where talent can flourish rather than stagnate. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to get all the exclusive news about Rangers FC. Don't overlook any details about your beloved team. It's crucial for Rangers FC fans. Whispers from Ibrox are growing louder by the hour after a turbulent stretch that saw Celtic falter while Rangers found their stride. All eyes are now turning to the transfer market, and at the centre of the buzz is none other than Danny RÖHL. The Rangers gaffer, known for his meticulous planning and eye for emerging talent, is reportedly setting his sights on a sparkling prospect from the Bundesliga, a move that, if true, could send shockwaves through Scottish football. Insiders suggest that RÖHL, never one to shy away from ambitious maneuvers, has been quietly tracking this young star for months. The player in question has impressed in Germany with a blend of technical skill and composure beyond his years, catching the attention of scouts across Europe. While the details remain sketchy, sources hint that conversations may already be underway, with Rangers keen to get ahead of rival suitors before the market heats up further. For the Ibrox faithful, such speculation offers a welcome distraction from the recent roller coaster of results. Celtic's stumble has left their supporters restless, while Rangers' resurgence under RÖHL has fueled talk of silverware. Should this potential signing come to fruition, it would not only bolster the squad but also signal a new, bolder chapter in the club's ambitions. Observers note that RÖHL has shown a penchant for integrating young talents swiftly, turning potential into performance with remarkable speed. Of course, the road from rumor to reality is seldom straight. The Bundesliga club is unlikely to part with one of its brightest prospects without a fight, and negotiations could stretch long into the window. But the very fact that the name is being whispered in Glaswegian corridors hints at a club quietly plotting its next move, eyes fixed firmly on both domestic glory and European campaigns. Meanwhile, fans are already speculating what kind of impact this young talent could have in the Scottish Premiership. Could it be the spark that cements Rangers' dominance, or merely a high-profile flirtation that ends with no deal? Either way, the chatter around RÖHL's ambitions is unmistakable. Rangers are on the hunt, and they are hunting big. Whether this Bundesliga jewel will don the royal blue of Ibrox remains to be seen, but for now the rumour mill spins, teasing supporters with the tantalising prospect of a transfer that could reshape the landscape of Scottish football. One thing is clear, Danny RÖHL is not content to stand still, and neither is Rangers. Greetings, fans. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, as it's greatly appreciated by Rangers FC. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments section below. Until the next video, stay tuned